Hi, everybody. It's Christina Grozik with the Going Home documentary, and we continue our journey to talk about sound and what sound means to us and how the different ways we can use sound. And today I'm really excited, and one of the first people that we started this journey with for this project was Maria Lallo Wagner from the Center for Sound Therapy out in Boardman, Ohio. So she is here with us. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for
Hi.
taking the time out. Yeah, so for those people that haven't had the opportunity yet to experience the Center for Sound Therapy, can you tell us what it is? What do you guys do there?
Yeah, so we consider the Center for Sound Therapy to be a place that focuses on vibrational energy medicine. And basically, we do that through sound therapy, and we also do energy healing. And basically, we're using methods of vibration to help people reach a better state of well-being, connecting them in with their mind, body, and spirit, and for the purposes of relaxation, meditation, and sometimes helping people get on their spiritual journey. So that's what we kind of feel like the Center for Sound Therapy is a container for people to experience all levels of I guess you could say, themselves, and just really allow that experience that they experience with us to open a doorway for them to continue, going forward on that path for whatever that means to them.
So when you come into the center, so people might think like, well, do I have to be an active participant? How does this work, right? So when you walk into the center, there's this awesome kind of waiting area that you guys have, built, and then these side rooms for, individual sessions, and then you have the main room for the group events, right? So when they come in, their job, would this be accurate to say, is literally they come in and they kind of recline and they just get in touch with themselves and just breathe. Would you say that's accurate?
I would say that that's accurate. And I think that that's the most important part is them showing up. And then basically we do all the work from there. We show them to their seat, we give them a pillow and a blanket, and it's like they're just relaxing. So closing their eyes is probably the most important part of the journey because the journey brings them inward. And that inward focus just allows people to start to realize what's there, realize what they're carrying, realize what they can let go of. And then it's just a process of listening and receiving and absorbing and just taking that journey through sound. And the sound really does the work with them as far as what they experience in that time frame where they are being bathed by the different instruments that we use.
Yeah, I love that. I love to explain these experiences when people ask me and they've never had one as like a bath for your nervous system,
Mm.
right? It just kind of gets into that nervous system and just layer by layer calms it down and brings it to a calm state. And then when you're in a calm state, all the magic happens, right? But you
Correct. Yeah.
provide that. Yeah, you provide it through voice work
Mhm.
that you do. You
Mhm.
use different instruments, and I like to call them tools. I know some people call them instruments, right? But I call them tools
Mhm.
because they're kind of an extension of my energy, and it's like a team effort between the bowl or the gong or whatever it is. So you guys have bowls and you guys have gongs and you have flutes, and there's a lot of different tools that you guys incorporate into it. And it's not just like when I do it, sometimes I'll partner with folks, right? But you guys are a team. You guys have been doing this for a little bit. So how did you guys get into it, and what does that look like with you guys working together as a team?
Yeah, it started with me asking Calvin to partner with me when I started to teach yoga. It was the beginning of 2014, and I was just finding myself and who I was going to be as a yoga instructor in my community. And Calvin and I had had an experience with sound ourselves in 2013, and it kept drawing me back to it. So I knew that I wanted to incorporate the sound in my yoga sessions. And I wanted it to be all encompassing, basically meaning that I wanted the sound to be the backdrop of the yoga session. And I didn't know how to do it myself. So I had this idea that that Calvin would start to partner with me, and I could teach my yoga session while Calvin would be holding space with the sound. And I just asked him, I'm like, what do you think about taking a training with me to be able to bring sound healing, sound therapy to our community while I'm teaching yoga? And that's really how we started. We started just going to the different spaces that would just allow us in, yes, here, we would like you to offer your type of session here. And it just built on that. So we started with the yoga at first, but then it grew into listening to our community. So they also wanted to come in and relax. So there was a different, I guess you could say, different clientele that wanted just the sound bath. They just wanted to come in to relax. They didn't really have a yoga practice. So we wanted to be able to give something to that part of the community who just needed the time to come in and to relax and to receive. And so that's kind of how we started to expand. And we started as a mobile business. But then decided, because all of your tools, they can be really delicate for travel, very heavy, and to just bring everything with you, it's a challenge, especially for certain spaces and where you're able to do the session. So we set out the intention that we wanted our own space. So a few years later, we were able to open the Center for Sound Therapy. And we have to thank our community for supporting us for, all those years until we were able to get our own space. But, they've been there with us every step of the way. So we're very fortunate to have a community here.
Yeah, you guys, you really, I've had the pleasure of meeting some of the folks in your community, and you have such a dynamic and incredible group of people. Absolutely. And yeah, I can absolutely relate to carrying back and forth
Mhm.
the equipment. It's like a workout, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, there's something to be said for having a dedicated space for that. Plus, it's your energy that's constantly
Right.
in that space, and a recycled
Mhm.
energy that holds it and raises that vibration as a whole for the space. And you
Right.
talked about like this inner journey. And I think that's so important because you're providing that container and that
Mhm.
safe space for people just to let go,
Right.
just to let go. And it's not often, I think, in our society where we are always on the go, go, go.
Mhm.
And I think the past year has slowed us down a little bit
Right.
and hopefully has made us reconsider some of our ways. But
Mhm.
still, it's not often, I think, that like we're in this moment just here now without worrying about something in the future or something from the past. And the fact that you guys provide that is amazing. So what do you think like some of the benefits of this kind of work? What have you seen some of the benefits be?
Basically, I think the biggest thing that we've seen is the reduction of tension. So, whatever that is, we do not realize how life creates tension and tightness in our body. And that itself creates a response, like you'd mentioned, the nervous system. It sends our body out of whack. And the sound helps to decompress. It helps to relax those tight areas, and it helps the body to actually reduce inflammation, reduce the symptoms, reduce the basic screams that are happening to us, saying, hey, pay attention to me. And that's what happens when your body is screaming. A lot of times people are looking for more outlets to dull that, that those signs and signals that are coming from us. But when you go into a session and you're listening, you get to feel that. And I know that that is uncomfortable for some people, but if you just allow yourself to surrender, the sessions can literally take those things away, take the weight away. We find people just not being able in their day-to-day lives to get to the point that level of surrender, even in their sleep at night. So we see that that is the biggest benefit, is that reduction of tension, that anxiety, the stress. We hear it over and over again, how the sessions help people reset. It's like just hitting that button, that pause button. And then once they're done, it's like sometimes you can see the person's face, that they came in with all kinds of stress and just uncomfortableness all over their face, but after they're done with a session, their eyes seem brighter. They have a smile on their face, and it's like their energy is completely different. So that is a huge benefit that many clients get after a session, and just allowing themselves to receive. And also we find that it puts them in touch with themselves. And when you start to touch into those places and those things that are coming from inside, you have the opportunity to start changing your life. You start to take your power back, and where you're able to realize what's taking your power, and then you start to do something with that. So we've seen I can't even, countless people just change their lives. We've seen people just pick up and leave. They've come like for a segment of sessions, and then they've gotten what they needed. Like their strength is back, their courage, and like, well, I'm leaving the state, or I'm getting a divorce, or I'm leaving this job. So it's like they find out what's not working, and then they start to build that strength and power and that trust within, what their heart, maybe it's their spirit, whatever's telling them something needs to change, and then they start to change it. And then it's a really beautiful thing to watch that shift happen for multiple clients. So that's another benefit too.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you're saying that, because that resonates so much, and that's actually how this whole project kind of started.
Mm.
Was because, I mean, this modality absolutely changed my life. And I was always looking for a way to meditate and find stillness, and because of having a background as a multitasker and coordinating events and film work, right? You're thinking like 10 steps ahead, because that's your job. I'm programmed
Right.
that way. But that allowed me to find that space and that stillness. And then when I
Mhm.
saw it happening, and the thing you're talking about with the way people physically look, their physical
Right.
appearance literally
Mhm.
changes before and after
Right.
that session, if
Mhm.
they allow themselves to just be.
Right.
They just give in and just let go. Just let it go.
Mm. Mhm.
They literally will appear different after, like so
Right.
much lighter, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think like that space, and you had mentioned too that it may be uncomfortable while
Mhm.
those things are arising, because they're so deeply embedded within us, and we
Right.
hold on to it, that it's not going to just say, oh, well, this is surfacing. Yeah, no problem. See you later. It's
Mhm.
going to maybe be what we would consider challenging, but
Mhm.
once it passes, oh my gosh, how much lighter are you? And the more you find those spaces, like you said, you've had people like move out of state,
Mhm.
find a new job, maybe leave a relationship that wasn't serving them.
Right.
Yeah, you find, I think too, like everything you said, I am so in alignment with. And
Mhm.
then I think like the clarity and the focus comes in the
Mhm.
more you do it, because it's clearing out all of that baggage,
Right.
that we hold on
Mhm.
to.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that so much. So what for you, how has this journey of finding sound, how has this changed your own personal life?
My own personal life, I guess you could say in the beginning, I remember a time where I allowed my pain to define me. Like it was a part of me that I had to start telling my story from. So when I started to use the just the idea of listening to sound, just allowing it to wash over me, just allowing it to just touch me in whatever way it would touch me, then I started to realize that that pain is not my story. And then I could let go of it. And then I started to dig into the pain, and I wanted to understand why I felt the way I did. And then I wanted to understand how I could find the forgiveness that I needed to for certain situations, certain people, certain dynamics. And that's really what it helped me do, is to kind of see things differently, take my power back. It helps me. Obviously, it helps to, I guess you could say, visit those places inside of you where you have stuffed things down, where you didn't want to see it. Like, those things are there, but on a level where you can handle it, you know, using it to a level where it's comfortable, and then allowing things to surface and accepting them for being there. So it's just, it kind of makes you okay with feeling the way you feel, that there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with having anger. There's nothing wrong with feeling grief or being disappointed, or feeling lonely or sad or even depressed. It's like all of those things are there, and sound helps to kind of like, elevate the part of yourself that can accept, accept what's present, and instead of getting into the part of judgment. So I was, I guess you could say, hard on myself for having rough days. So some days I felt really depressed, or some days I felt really down on myself. Or you get into your head about not being, whether it's good enough or productive enough, or you should be doing more. And it just kind of also helps you take a step back and trust the journey that you're on. It doesn't have to be accepted by everybody. That, as long as I was doing something from my heart and I felt good about it, then it's okay. That I don't have to have approval, just to keep sharing and, expanding. And for what it was doing for me, that's what I want to show other people, that it could do for them too. It could help them just be stronger, be more resilient, be more balanced, because we're always going to have those waves of emotion. We're going to have life changes, as we've all seen, this past year. That was, something that hit everyone, and there was nothing that we could do about it. So we had to go back to our tools. And, for us, our tools was the sound. It was our work. We had to go back to, practicing what we teach everyone else to do, is just come back into that space, come back to just listening and being, and, just, taking one breath at a time. So that's really it. It works. I work with it every day. So yeah, it's still, I'm still working with it, and it's still helping me along the journey.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Yeah, thank you so much. I think before we formally started, this discussion, we were talking about things that resonate with you, and some things will, some things won't, and that's okay. Not everything has to, and it's just the acceptance that you were speaking about, of just accepting that that's okay. Like, everyone's got their own frequency, everyone's in a bio individual, working in their own way, and some things are going to be attracted to that, some things won't. And that's just part of the journey of that acceptance, of just being like in that authentic moment as that genuine being of who you
Right.
are, and I think that's when I think you can like really harness that. That's like a superpower,
Mhm.
yeah, it's, and every day's a practice. It's like,
Right.
there's some days you take them all, but I think like when you
Right.
change your perspective, change
Mhm.
everything,
Mhm.
because you can look at the same opportunity and say, well, that's really challenging. And it might be really challenging, but when
Mhm.
you say it's really challenging and it's also going to push me into a place of growth if I allow it to, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like every day is
Right.
practice, for sure. Yeah, every day offers something new that you can use
Mhm.
as practice.
Right.
Absolutely. So in the spirit of sound and some of the collection of tools that you guys use, do
Mhm.
you have a favorite tool that really resonates with you? That's like when you hear that sound, it's like that's the sound.
It's funny that you asked that, because I haven't really introduced it yet, because I'm still working, with it in my private practice, but I really love the harmonium. I do have a small Shruti box that I have brought out here and there, but I still feel vulnerable with my voice. Calvin, he freely shares his voice in our sessions, you know, doing his toning, and I'm more of just like the person, the guide for the meditation, but I haven't broke out of my shell yet for toning or chanting or singing with my harmonium. But it's like the sound of that just kind of like drops me into a space where I feel like, you know, as I'm playing and I'm hearing the sounds of a harmonium, it's like vibrating like my whole being. And I'm working with it to help me open, to help me be more confident and just starting to share my voice in my sessions. So that's something I'm working with right now in my personal practice. But I really love the sound of the harmonium. Not that I don't really resonate with our other tools, but right now it's something that I'm hoping will take me to that point of growth when I put myself out there, that it will be beautiful and it'll be what it is, you know, whether it's perfect or not. It'll be an experience that will help me to open and grow a little bit more.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to follow that journey, and I can't wait the next time that I visit your center. Maybe at that point, you'll have introduced that into some.
Yes, well, maybe I will for you if I haven't
Oh
yet.
my gosh, really? Oh, I would love that so much. I would love that because I can already feel and sense. I know it's going to be beautiful. I know it's going to be
Well,
magical
thank
because
you.
the energy that you guys put together and the space that you create is so wonderful. And it's like, it's just this envelope of love that you guys have put together. So I have no doubt it's going to be like glorious. So for sure, I can't wait. So. Yeah, absolutely. So, outside of the tool side of things, are there other sounds that really resonate you just in the everyday world, right? In your surroundings?
Yeah, there's one thing that I do want to share as far as sound. So my mom had passed away last February, right before COVID hit, and I don't know why, but I felt like I had to sleep with my window open, and it was a time where I just wanted to let nature in, and I really resonated with the birds. So I started to hear the birds singing, and it's something that I feel like, I don't know if it's spirit. I don't know if it's just the sound. And I think I read somewhere that the birds are the sounds and they do sing the songs of the angels. And I really resonate with hearing the birds, especially in the morning. It just brings a smile to my face. It brings a joy, and I try to pick out. I was like, oh, I hear this songbird, and then I hear this songbird, and they're all singing to me. So it's like, it's just part of my practice, how I just wake up in the morning and I just start to listen. And that's like the first thing that I look for when I wake up. And I feel like birds are all around us. As far as outside of us go, you know, just listen to the birds. It'll take you to a place where you can just like disconnect from everything else, and it just calls you into that moment. And you know, whether you're connecting with the birds or a larger essence, a larger vibration, it really touches me. And I feel like that's sort of some guidance saying everything's going to be okay. You know, it might be a little challenging right now, but you know, we're here. We have your back, and that's just something that's really special for me. I know it might be I don't know, it might sound simple, but it's really powerful. Just the birds singing.
Yeah, yeah, and no, I totally appreciate that, and I can say the same. Like when I can hear that, it just takes me to another place, and it's like this
Mhm.
wave of just peace that washes over me. It's
Right.
like a gift from the heavens every
Mhm.
day, and I think, yeah, I've heard people say like, well, it's just the birds singing, and I can't imagine because I think sometimes we can take those things for granted, but I mean,
Yeah.
imagine a world where there were no birds and you didn't hear that. I mean, I can't even fathom that, because
Right.
their voice and their song, and it's the
Mhm.
same bird that can create so many different sounds. And
Right.
it's like this
Right.
little tiny creature. How is this happening? It's like miraculous every
Mhm.
single time, and never taken for granted. There's
Right.
actually a composer. I think he teaches in New York, but I think he goes back and forth from Germany to New York. His name's Alexander Lieberman. And I'll definitely share it with you, but
Okay.
he trains his ear as a composer to the sounds of animals. And one of the sounds he uses are bird songs. And he
Okay.
will listen to it and break down the notes in it
Oh,
and then
wow.
transcribe it into sheet music. He generates
Okay.
sheet music out of it. And when I learned about him and I heard it, I'm like, what an extraordinary offering to
Right. What a
do
gift.
that. Yeah, I'm like,
Mhm.
I love it so
Mhm.
much. But yeah, I think that's so cool that you get to start your day in that space and just
Right.
honoring what's around and
Mhm.
recognizing the beauty and importance of that for
Mhm.
sure. So, with that being said, where do you think sound will go in the future?
Well, I always go back to that statement from, I think it was Nikola Tesla, where he said, if you want to think of, life, think of terms in energy, frequency, and vibration. And it was also, I believe Bruce Lipton, who also said that we are energetic beings and we need the same type of medicine to effectively heal ourselves. So the medicine is vibration, sound, frequency, energy. And I am very hopeful and I see sound going that way. I see that that is going to be um, the main medicine for our well being, for our health. We really need to incorporate that in some part of our life. And that's where I really see it going. And I have to hold that faith because, a lot of people, they, um, I guess you could say, they we as a culture, we look for easy fixes, but the easy fixes don't always bring, I guess you could say, benefit. They just bring more challenges. And I think we need to um, do the work. We need to just feel. We need to go back to something more natural that helps us to dig and explore and see what's there instead of separating. So I guess it's a time where we need to reconnect with ourselves. We need to realize what's going on, and we need to realize that we have other options, and to just do more things that are in harmony and alignment with what we are, with who we truly are. And I think that's where sound is going to take us. I feel like it's starting, and I think every day the pull for people, it's getting into more people's awarenesses, getting into their consciousness. That's what we've seen people coming saying, oh, I looked up sound bath, or I looked up sound therapy, or I heard, my sister did this. So they were telling me about it. So it is gaining momentum. The power of it is gaining momentum. And if it is frequency, energy, and vibration, our intentions for it to do that, it will definitely, feed it and create that possibility. So I have to believe and just trust that that's where it's going, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. And I
Yeah.
know what's funny is I know you haven't seen the film yet, right? Because it hasn't been released as of yet, as we're speaking right now.
Mhm.
So the opening for the film is that quote from Nikolai Tesla.
Okay.
That is the opening quote of the film. So, spoiler alert, teaser, right? But when you said that, I'm like, oh, because that's it right there. It is. And yeah, I am there with you and hoping that. And so many times I hear people say, well, it's not in my budget right now to get a singing bowl or, to get a gong or something of that nature. And I said, like, well, what about your voice? That's an
Right.
instrument. When you
Mhm.
can learn how to change the words you're using or the thoughts you're thinking, those are all vibration and they all carry energy too. So
Mhm.
you can start at that point, right? It doesn't have to be like, an 80-inch gong. You can start
Right.
with your voice. Start with that, right? Because
That
that's
doesn't cost them anything.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. That comes free, right?
Right.
It just takes work. So yeah, but I mean, who wouldn't want the 80-inch gong? I mean,
Right.
for sure.
I
Yeah,
know I
yeah, I would too,
would.
absolutely. And someday, another day. But today, yeah, the tools that I have, I will gladly embrace and use those until I'm at that point. So tell us if people are like, this Center for Sound Therapy, where can I find them? Where would they find you guys? What's the best way to find you guys? And then can you tell us, we know we've talked about the sound events that you guys do, and I know you guys offer other energy modalities. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're in Boardman. We are at 6229 Market Street. And the easiest way to find us is centerforsoundtherapy.com or Facebook or Instagram. But we do weekly group sessions for people to pop in if they want to just come on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And like you said, it's a bath. So we feel like we're a sound bath center. And what basically every session that we do is some sort of a bath. You're either bathing yourself in sound or you're bathing yourself in energy healing. And it's really a time for you to receive. They don't need to have any education, any experience, any knowledge of meditation. All they have to do is come in and surrender. And we do all the work for them. And the energy sessions basically are a channeled energy, and I would be the practitioner, and I'm just bringing that energy down. So I do Reiki healing, and I also do IET and angel healing. And it's basically the essence of the energy is just flowing through me, and I'm bringing it down, and I'm allowing it to just fill up a person's auric field, and then it submerges down into their physical body, and it makes people feel elevated. It also has the same properties as the sound therapy, changing, shifting, relaxing, re-energizing, balancing, and just making you feel whole again. So that's really what the Center for Sound Therapy is about, using these methods of healing to make you feel whole again. And that's what we want everybody to come in and just see what it feels like to feel whole again. I mean, doesn't that sound amazing? So it's like, yes, like I want that. And that's what we want to give everyone who walks in our doors.
And I can speak from experience. At least for me, absolutely, you've done that. So thank you so much. And
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to next time I'm in the area come visit and do a session for sure. So yeah, energy, vibration, frequency. That's what it's all about. That's where we're at. So thank you so much for taking the time out today
Thank you,
and for sharing
Christina.
everything. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you guys again.
Yes, we can't wait to see you too.
All right, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, have a good one.
You too.